Hey everyone, this is the Spoon Dude back with another custom Spider-Man action figure video. This time we are taking a look at my custom Spider-Man based off the art of John Romita Jr. And by custom Spider-Man figure, I mean custom Spider-Man figure head, because I only made a head. So I'm a big fan of John Romita Jr.'s art. He is the main artist for probably my favorite Spider-Man comics run of all time by J. Michael Straczynski. And yeah, I just think his art is awesome. He draws a really cool looking Spider-Man. He's a bit thinner. He's very agile. I love the way he does the big eyes. And yeah, I'm just a fan of that artwork. And I wanted some sort of physical representation of it in my collection. But I was also kind of lazy, so I decided to just do the head for now. This head is actually a Superior Spider-Man head that I completely re-sculpted. And I did originally intend to put it on this body since this was, the newest Spider-Man figure that I was playing around with. I'll talk about that more in a second. But I used Superior Spider-Man and I completely re-sculpted it to try to match the way John Romita Jr. draws Spider-Man's head. He has a very specific way of drawing Spider-Man's head. If you look at, every other artist, they almost draw Spider-Man with a very round head. Like these Spider-Man heads, very rounded off, whereas Romita Jr., his Spider-Man head is kind of squared off at the top, and you can see I tried to capture that here. The way I went about sculpting this head, I first drew Romita's Spider-Man to try and figure out how the head shape should look in different angles. And then with the sculpt, I just tried to replicate that. So I tried to make sure the shape was right at front and then shape it so it also looked right in the side. And yeah, it's not much to talk about. I can just show you how it looks. Romita Jr. has also a particular way of drawing Spider-Man's eyes. But I'll get to how big they are as well, but even from the side you can see his eyebrow. His brow part, whereas again every other Spider-Man figure wise, for the most part, the eyes are flat or stick out, whereas here it gets kind of indented as if the mask is form-fitting to where his eyes are, so it's sunken in. So I try to get that going. And then of course Romita Jr. has the big eyes. He's not the first artist to do that, but I like the way he does it. I think something particular about Romita Jr.'s Spider-Man eyes is they have really thick, this upper part of the black line is thicker than the rest of it, so it almost looks like he has eyebrows. But yeah, I think that looks really cool in the art, so I tried to replicate that here. It was a pain to paint it and try to keep it symmetrical. The eyes, I kept having to repaint them and rework them. I did try sculpting the eyes actually. And you can kind of see right there, that line, that's where I originally sculpted the bottom. But I found out when painting it didn't really line up with this other side. So I just ignored that sculpted line and painted it higher. And you can see the white paint is a little chalky. In person it's not as noticeable. It depends on how the light hits it. So I'm not too bothered by that. And I did do the web lines the same way I did on my Alex Ross Spider-Man, so check that out if you want to know how. They're not perfect, they're not entirely symmetrical, but then again, this is what Hasbro gave me, so, yeah, I'd say it's on par. Like I said, I put this head originally to fit this body, because this was the Spider-Man figure I was, posing around with most, and that's why the red sort of matches, and so does the webbing. Unfortunately, this body is probably too bulky for Romita Jr., so what I ended up doing is I bit the bullet and decided to buy a Pizza Spider-Man. This is, I think, another retro carded Spider-Man. It was a re-release and it has brighter paint jobs than the original. And he's a good figure. And of course he has his half unmasked head, but I bought it so I could put this head here for more accurate, kind of skinnier Spider-Man. It's still not perfect. The head might be a smidge big. Just a hair too big since I originally intended it for this body. But I do like the way it looks. And again, not perfect. Hands probably too big for Romita Jr. Same with feet. But from afar, or just generally looking at it, I think it looks pretty good, especially when you pose it up. So I'm really happy with this. The reds don't match perfectly, but again, not noticeable, which is a recurring thing with my customs. There's a lot of problems, but as long as they're not noticeable, then they're not really problems. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with how this looks. And yeah, now I have a John Romita Jr. Spider-Man. I am thinking about repainting this body to be a bit closer to the art. Maybe do like a cel-shaded thing. I don't know, we'll see. But I'm happy with this for now. And yeah, so there's my John Romita Jr. Spider-Man head. Hope you enjoyed the video. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, do all of that stuff. I hope to see you in my next video whenever I post that. Thanks for watching.